slides. All right. Hello, guys. Can you guys see this okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Okay, so I just wanted to do a little training. I feel like so many people are feeling stuck or feeling maybe not stuck, but like in that place of I don't want to feel salesy when I share about my business, but also I want to share about my business and I just don't really know how to go about it. So I put this training together. I hope it's helpful. And it's super simple things that you can just change up from maybe things that you're already doing or things that you want to be doing. And these are just some practical tips on how to not be salesy. So, first of all, my biggest tip when you're sharing on social media, when you're sharing, talking to people online, whether it's sending messages or posting or whatever it is, avoid sounding professional. So, when you sound professional, it kind of is not personable. And it's not really easy for people to connect with you when you're sounding like that. So it's kind of like everything that we learned in school about how to write and how to talk to people and how to like write messages and letters, just like forget it when you're on social media. Because really social media and social selling, network marketing is all about connecting with people. And so we don't want to lecture people on why our business is awesome or why our products are awesome. We really want to connect with people and for them to see why we care about this business, why we love these products. So that's my number one tip. With that, it's totally okay if you have to rewrite something a million different times. So I, a lot of times, will just write down everything that I want to say in my post, and then I will go back through and edit it, sometimes several times. So don't feel like, oh, I didn't get it to like sound perfect the first time, I should just give up. Even like people who have been doing this forever, we write this stuff down, read it out loud, and make sure it sounds like you. Like if you read a post out loud or a message that you're about to send someone out loud and it does not feel like something that you would say to your friend sitting across from you at coffee, rephrase it. And sometimes it's just as simple as changing a couple words or something super simple like that. But you really want it to sound like you when you are communicating your business or your product or whatever it is. So, what to avoid? I just have a couple of these. This isn't going to be a huge list. As I put a list, what to avoid: lists and bullet points. And what I mean by that is you don't want to say, like, here are 5 reasons why I love this business and just list like one word answers. That's what I mean by lists. So with that, I did a little bit of an example here. This is something to avoid. If you want to list the ways of that you love our full spectrum hemp, that is totally okay. And I have this, and then I'm going to scroll down and show you guys a post that I actually wrote a couple weeks ago, kind of doing the same thing, but I just worded things differently. And I hope you guys can kind of catch the differences because this all goes along with don't sound professional. You want to really connect with people and tell stories when you're posting, when you're messaging people, when you're talking about your business. So, why I love our hemp, full spectrum hemp. This means that it contains all the parts of the cannabis plant. It will not get you high. CBD is just one part of the plant, while full spectrum has CBD plus other parts. Okay, that is very, it explains it very well, what our full spectrum hemp is. So there's not a problem there. That is very straight to the point. Now I'm gonna just come down here and show you guys a post that I did and just kind of show you how I took those bullet points and made them flow a little bit better so it doesn't feel so stiff. And I just said it's this top little column, like paragraph. What is full spectrum hemp and does it get you high? The answer is no, it does not get you high. Full spectrum means that it has all the parts of the plant. You see a lot of CBD out there, but CBD is only one part of the plant. And while it's an amazing part, there are other cannabinoids that often get left out. Full spectrum has CBD plus all the other parts, which makes it so helpful for so many different areas of support. Okay, so you see how that compared to full spectrum, this means that it contains all the parts of the cannabis plant. Not that there's anything wrong with giving these facts like this, but it's just the way that we say it helps people to connect with us and also helps people to feel a little bit more relaxed, like it feels more personal. The next one, and you guys, I'm not gonna like keep scrolling back and forth too much, but talking about water soluble, and I'm hoping this is helpful just to give you guys little examples. So water soluble, this makes it easier and quicker to absorb into our bloodstream. Again, that is very true. But how I worded it, instead of making it feel like a bullet point, I said, another thing about our hemp is that it's water soluble. This makes it easier, way easier and quicker to absorb into your bloodstream than general oil-based CBD that you see a lot of places carrying. So see, just adding like a couple things here, they really make a difference in how it sounds when people read it. I always like to think of it before I post something. If my friend came over and was sitting across from me at my dining room table, having a cup of coffee, and she asked me about our hemp, how would I talk about it? Would I say, let me give you 5 facts? Or would I say, oh my gosh, this is what you need to know about it? However you would say it, type it like that. That's how people can connect with you. So next thing to avoid, stock images and only sharing graphics. And I also want to say, I love graphics. I think they are so helpful. People can hold down on them and read them. People can screenshot them. They're amazing. But it's when you are only ever sharing graphics that it's kind of becomes a little bit of a problem, only because imagine people that you like to follow on social media and you're tapping through their stories and you're like going to turn your sound on and listen to them or pay attention. Is it people who are always only sharing graphics, or is it people who are showing their face, showing their life a little bit? You can hear their voice. We connect with people when we can see them and when we can actually hear from them. And that's why I just say avoid only sharing graphics. I have a couple examples of how you can share graphics and still be personal. So first way is you can talk about, I just used our comp plan for an example. You can talk about our comp plan, and literally Instagram will let you paste a picture right into your story after you're done recording. And so you can do that. People can screenshot it or hold down and look at it. And that's a great way to use graphics without losing the personal touch. The other way, this is a totally different time that I was talking down here on the bottom, is talk about something a little bit and then share a slide or even a couple slides, and then talk about it some more afterwards. And both of those, I think I do it all the time. I love, like I said, I love graphics, but you just don't want to lose that personal touch of actually being you and letting people connect with you too. So those are pretty much my tips for sharing on social media. I think that pretty much covers everything that I could possibly want to say. Just be you is really what I want to say. It's easy to write something and feel like it doesn't sound professional enough, or it doesn't sound smart enough, or it doesn't sound whatever it is that you are struggling with. But just remember, people want to connect with you, and it's not about how much you know, it's just about who you are. So now we're going to talk about inviting people to hear about the business opportunity. Again, just be you. I'm going to have a couple scripts on the next slide, but I want you to really make sure that it sounds like you. I personally there were scripts in our business groups when I first joined. I took them, and what I did is I just went through and read each section out loud and changed up words, changed up phrases to make it sound like me. So edit this. I have a little list over here. Edit this to make it sound like you is my number one thing. Number two thing, if possible, you want to voice message, because then people can hear the excitement in your voice. They can hear how genuine you sound. They can hear and see that you're not just like copy and pasting a message to 1,000 people. Even if you are sending voice messages to a lot of people, it just shows that you're taking the time to message them and that you truly care about them. And I understand it's not always like, sometimes you just can't voice message, but you want to message someone or you want to reply to someone. I'm not saying like only ever voice message or don't do anything, but when possible, especially when you're first reaching out, it's always good for people to be able to hear your voice. And then the other thing is, if you're nervous about it, just practice over and over. You can send voice messages to friends, you can send it to family, you can like sit by yourself in a room and just read it until you feel comfortable saying the voice message out loud. And another thing that I added, which I'll share in a second after I read the script, is add something personal if possible. And again, you're not always going to be able to do this. Sometimes you don't know people super well. So there's not really something personal that you could add in. But if you can, I'm going to give you a couple examples of that too. So here's the message that I send people. You can either like screenshot this, write it down, take a photo of it, whatever it is. And then, like I said, make it your own. So first, I always try to use people's name when I'm first messaging them. Instead of just being like, hey, or hey, it just makes it so much more personal. So I'm just pretending like I'm messaging myself, okay? And I'm pretending like, I'm gonna pretend like I'm sending a voice message. So I will say, hey, Haley. Okay, so I recently joined this ground floor health and wellness company called Q Sciences that has a full line of full spectrum of hemp products and a full line of non-hemp products like vitamin sprays, protein shakes, basically all things health and wellness. The products are so incredible, but the business side of things is what really got me. The business structure and comp plan is unlike anything I've ever seen. I'm not sure if this is even something that you'd be interested in, but I had to reach out just in case because it's so good. If you'd like some info, let me know and I'll send you a little video talking about all the things. Again, I try to make it sound so casual. You don't want to sound super scripted, which is why you want to practice and just make it sound natural. Now, what I mean when I say add in something personal, if possible, if you have a friend that you know loves health and wellness products or loves hemp and like uses hemp religiously, what you can do is add in right in the top there when you're messaging them, say, hey, Haley, so I recently joined this ground floor health and wellness company called Q Sciences, and I thought of you because we actually have a full line of hemp products, and I know you love hemp. And we have a whole bunch of other health and wellness products too, but I just knew that you really loved hemp, and I could not stop thinking about how much you would love this or how perfect this would be for you, or something like that. And that's just an example. You know, if you know someone who you know is working so hard to get out of debt or wants to stay home with their kids, then down here when you're talking about the comp plan, you can just add that in. The business structure and comp plan is unlike anything I've ever seen. We actually have a program that pays money towards a debt of our choice every single month that you can earn. How crazy is that? Make those personal touches. And I think, first of all, obviously, if we're thinking of people that we think would benefit from this business or would love to do this business, there's a reason. So you want people to know that you thought of them for a reason. And then also, it just shows them that you care. And it shows them, like, wow, maybe this is, it kind of like touches home a little bit. So yeah, those are my tips for messaging. If you're just starting out, brand new, you haven't posted anything, or even if you have, if you've never like invited this person. Now I have another invitation script that you can send if you've maybe been in this business for a little while and you haven't really invited people in a while, or you just like another option, basically, whether you've been doing it. I send both of these just depending on the person and how you feel like, so here's another one that you could post or send to someone, not post. Hey, Haley, I'm not sure if you've seen my post or not. So you've been posting, you just don't know. So I'm not sure if you've seen my post or not, but I actually partnered with this amazing health and wellness company, and it's literally been so life-changing. The products are so incredible. I hear new testimonies daily of how they're changing people's lives. But the business side of things is so good too. The business structure and comp plan is unlike anything I've ever seen. I'm not sure if this is even something you'd be interested in, but I had to reach out just in case because it's so good. And then I have two different endings on here. So if you guys if you want to know, keep these handy, take a picture of this. So there's two endings. One's depending if you want to send them a recording of something. If you think, some people are really busy and they might not have time to come to a recording at night, or they work at night, or they have small kids that they're putting to bed at the time of our calls. You can kind of feel that out and see, do you think it would be better for them to come to see a recording, or do you think it would be better to invite them to a call? And then you just add one of these at the end. If you like some info, let me know and I'll send you a little video talking about all the things. Or the other one is, we're actually having a Zoom tomorrow night talking about all the things if you'd like to come. Either way, you can invite. And you know what? Sometimes when you invite people to a Zoom, there's usually like 3 answers that you'll get. Usually it's either, yeah, I'd love to come, or it's, I wish I could, which in that case, then you could say, oh my gosh, I totally get that. We're all so busy. I can actually send you a recording if you want. And typically people will say, sure, that would be awesome. Or sometimes people say no. Sometimes people are like, I'm not really interested in that. And in that case, I feel like a lot of times we get discouraged and we're like, oh my gosh, they don't want to do this with me. But just remember, it's not you that they're saying no to. It's just this business opportunity. Maybe they don't have time for another business right now. Maybe they just don't want to, but don't take it personally when people say no, is another huge thing. So yeah, those are like my main points that I wanted to hit. I hope this was like helpful. Let me see. Does anyone have any questions about anything, like when it comes to posting or sharing or anything like that? No? Cool. Well, I hope this was at least a little bit helpful. If you let me stop sharing my screen.